How's it going, everybody? This is Jonathan Diaz, TK16890. Today, we have a new recruit to the ECG, Eddie Chang, TX18301. How's it going, Eddie?
Hey, what's up, Jonathan? Everything is okay. How are you doing?
Good, man. Good. So you have just joined. You've joined
Fresh off
during
the
a
boat.
you've joined during an awkward time because there's not really a lot of any trooping going on.
No, we'll have
So
to make this count.
so I guess this will be a good, a good first kind of like not troop, but thing you do for the Garrison.
Yeah, this is my first anything, so I'm only a couple of weeks in. So this is kind of exciting and new, and I think a good segue, maybe a taste of some of the oncoming things that'll happen when the pandemic is over and the restrictions lift.
So, Eddie, how'd you get into Star Wars? What's your Star Wars story?
Star Wars. I've always been a fan of sci-fi, fantasy, fiction. Star Wars was up there with many of them, to be honest. Um, what really caught me with Star Wars was design more than anything. I was always intrigued by the cool vehicles, the monsters and the creatures and all the uniforms. It really struck a note with me. And I think that's always something that draws me first is kind of the visualness of it all. And Empire Strikes Back, I think, was one that really stuck out. It was like ats were there, and it was just like a bigger than life, and what kind of drew me in. And it's an awesome franchise. I mean, it's had some moments, and lately they've been pumping a lot of great ideas, great stories, and great visual stuff, and it's only kind of drawn me into it more and more. And there's more material out there to access more than ever. So it's always been something that I was kind of seduced by from a design perspective. I always loved the drawings, the illustrations, and lately they've only been coming out with more. So kind of got slowly more and more into it. And I think it was also an easy gift for friends and family. So everyone kept buying me Star Wars things, thinking, well, they knew I was into Star Wars, right? As it was easy. And that kind of self had a self momentum in of itself. And before I knew it, my wardrobe was all like Star Wars t-shirts and toys. And I'm like, all right, yeah, this, I want to know more about all these like other characters and side stories. So yeah.
Okay, so how did you find out about the 501st? What was your story
501st.
journey to the 501st?
I think it was Comic-Con. So Javits, New York City Comic-Con. Uh, every so often I'll attend. I'm not like an annual kind of guy, but I'll hit it every so often. Uh, in some years we've dressed up and kind of had a lot of fun with it. And I think I saw a stand and I saw a few folks in uniform. And I wasn't at the point where I was going to talk to anyone about it, but I was like, yeah, that's cool. In my mind, it was like, I'm probably going to have standards that I'll never meet. So there's really no point. But hey, that's cool. I mean, that's probably the first time I've ever heard of it. After that, once I started looking into like a costume and stuff, I started not even sure if I could do it, but it's sort of like that unachievable goal. You know what I mean? Like that's like maybe I'll do it, maybe I won't. I'm no pressure. If I hit it, great. If I don't, that's cool too. And so I started looking more and more into it. And a lot of the folks that I spoke to on some of the Facebook groups with the build are obviously 501st, right? So I think that really warmed me up because that made it for me more achievable, knowing that the guys were cool, they were welcoming, they weren't like super geeky or anything, and like they were guys like me that were into it, and they were helpful and warm, and it just felt like a really cool community. And I didn't expect that because it's not something none of my friends are really into, so there was really no one I could turn to, so I had to go online. And I think the community was really what brought me in.
That's awesome. And how'd you find out about the ECG and the forums and all that stuff?
So as I was being contacted and speaking to all these folks on the forums to work on the build, I mean, the first thing you do is like, all right, here's my kit. Is there a builders group out there? And luckily there was, and it was a massive one, right? So I joined, and then there were so many acronyms out there. I'm like, you're in a what? You're in a garrison. You're in a detachment. Like, what's this mean? Like, is this military? Is this Boy Scouts? Like, what are we talking about? So yeah, I kind of researched it. Hit the main sites. Honestly, it's still a little confusing to me because I'm like, there's there's like 6 sites that I have open on my computer all the time, looking for updates and notifications. I'm not sure which one is the one I should go to, but slowly I started piecing it together in my head. And speaking to Steve Shades at
Hmm.
Sheets
Hmm.
and Chris, they kind of gave me a quick rundown of how it works, so that helped me out a little bit.
Yes, those are both. If you're going to talk to anybody, those are the people you talk to. They'll help you through anything.
Yeah, I mean they totally were. They kind of glued it all together. I almost need like a PowerPoint org chart to figure it out, but they worked it out for me.
So, what made you? Most people join the 501st, like myself, and we get a white TK Stormtrooper. What made you pick the Shadow TX Stormtrooper?
I think it was just timing for me because I went in going for the I was looking for the Anovo's white kit
Uh-huh.
2K and that just kind of just had closed. I think I missed it by a week, and I was kind of bummed. I was like, finally there's something I can afford. This was really the first time I even considered it, was because when I saw the price point, I thought I could do this. Um, Missed out on it. Then I got notification that the Shadow Trooper was coming out, and to be honest, I was like, the Shadow, what is this? Like, this is like Snake Eyes Stormtrooper. Like, it's like, what is this? I started looking into it, and I got intrigued by the lore even more. And with the Novos, it's like you have a window. You want it, or you
I gotta
don't. You
get
know what I
it.
mean? So I went all in. I'm like, I could do this, and I think it's a little different for the standard TK, which is kind of cool too. So I went for it. I mean, for the most part, no regrets. I think it's super cool. I'm stoked about it, and it's very like ninja reconnaissance like, So you can't beat it. I think it's pretty neat. I still think the white TK is the Adidas of the brand, but maybe one day, after I recover from this one.
Trust me, it'll be sooner than you think. You'll be like, yeah, it's time for a new costume.
I'm checking those for sale posts to see what's up.
Well, that's the good thing for people out there who don't know. Once you are in the 501st, they make it a lot more easier and tempting for you to buy things because now you have access to all these builders because most of them are members. And when you're on the forums, there's sale and trade and on every forum for any costume, so you can definitely get lost and spend a lot of money.
Yeah, for sure. In fact, I am talking to one guy, all the cards on the table, who's got a partial kit that I might be able to piece together. So we're in discussion. Is just right now logistics because I'm out here and he's back in the city. So I've got to work it out. But there may be something on the horizon.
That's awesome. So, we were talking. You said you were talking before we started recording. You said you had the costume sitting around for a while, and you really didn't have any time to make it. But what's interesting is that you used this pandemic to take the time to build it. So, tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so as some of you may know, the Novus kits the pre-orders went out years ago, and even years after that, before they actually arrived, I was lucky to even get it. So I finally got it, and I think it sat in the box for about, well, I wouldn't say it sat in the box for 5 years because that thing came, and the first thing I did was ripped it open, put the helmet on, and went for a drive. Like, what? Like I was so stoked about it. So yeah, I opened it, but then knowing that I wasn't going to be able to build in the city with space and all that, so I brought it out to my parent-in-law's country house in Poconos, and I was able to get to a point where I was brave enough to kind of take it out and get through the rough cuts, and it was nerve-wracking because you didn't want to screw it up, and even as it was a fairly affordable kit, it's an investment. So I was super nervous, and I'm working with box cutters, and I'm not a handy guy. I'm a city boy. I didn't grow up being crafty. That wasn't my thing. But lots of coffee and lots of, again, motivation, enthusiasm from the community. I was able to get through the rough cuts. But then it sat back in the box for about 4 years because I just didn't have the time. But I mean, I wouldn't say thankfully, but due to the pandemic, we've been out here for a significant amount of time, and I had a lot more downtime than I've ever had. So, being that I didn't have a whole lot of hobbies, I was able to kind of get back where I left off and drink a lot more coffee and speak to a lot more folks, and motivated me to finish it. And I was able to knock it out in a couple of weeks, which I thought was, I didn't think was going to be able to happen.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. So you took this negative and were able to do something creative.
Yeah, I'm blessed. I mean, it was something ready for me to get going on. You know what I mean? It gave me something to do my downtime, something to focus my energy, and it gave me something to do. So I don't work well with downtime. So this
I'm with you, man.
yeah, this gave me something. I think the blaster was actually something I put together first, even before the costume. I
Wow,
got this first.
wow, okay, you did your own blaster too.
I did it, the Doopy Doo's resin, and that was a lot of fun. And that got me the bug, I think, to get it going more. I'm not, a model airplane or train kind of guy. I don't know this stuff, but I just did it, and it was a lot of fun. The end result was super awesome to go through.
Well, from a city boy to a city boy, I am not crafty by any means. And I have been doing this for 8 years now, and I have yet to put together my own costume. I have always had help from other people. And everybody knows I am the scaredest person to mess up a costume. So kudos to you for
Thank
sitting
you.
down and putting the whole thing together. I've trimmed a suit, and it's the scariest thing in the world to do.
It is, and you know what? Like, prepare to screw up, but that's a great metaphor for life, right? Like, go mess it up. It's all good. There's nothing you can't fix, and the dialogue and the relationship with the people I've had to right my wrongs is what got me more and more into it, and got
Yeah.
me excited about it and pumped. And I mean, some of these folks I might be trooping with one day, I don't know if they're in Germany or in the Bronx. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
but they're starting to friend me, and we're starting to talk, and you get over that fear real quickly. And I'll tell you, like, I screwed it all up. I mean, I went for my first submission on May 5th, because I was like, oh, that was super symbolic. This is really cool, Star Wars Day. I'm gonna submit it and get approved. I got all this positive feedback, and then Steve wrote back, was like, here's the good news and here's the bad. And they're all kind of bad, right? Like, the good news is stuff that's easy to fix. The bad, it's like, oh man, I hope you don't get discouraged, but these are some things you got to really fix. And I was like, I don't know if I could do it, but I kind of just grabbed the bull by the horn. Eventually, after being defeated for a couple of days and sulked, did it. But the process is, I think, a rite of passage. I'm starting to figure out, like, for a lot of these folks that are in this, it's like that's that experience that a lot of people have together. I'm on top of trooping and stuff. For some folks who build it, that's part of the process and part of your common grounds with everyone.
No, it is. And I've known a lot of people who never built anything like yourself. And years down the line, they wind up being the guy that helps everybody else build their costume because they've done it a couple times already. So, you'll be able to pass down that knowledge at some point, which will be awesome.
But on that note, I'm also all good to buy a secondhand, fixed, ready to go. Plug and play, all good with me.
and don't worry, you're going to submit more costumes and they're going to tell you things are wrong, even when you've been doing this for a long time. So that's going to happen no matter what.
Good. I'm running out of Band-Aids from all the box cuts on my fingers and my wrists and my arms.
I was putting together a first order Stormtrooper costume, which I didn't finish.
Nice.
I ended up selling it to Chris.
Oh.
Well, Chris he finished it.
I've seen it on the card. It's slick, man.
Yes. He was the crazy person who put the rest of the money to make that.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But I was trimming it with another member, Richie, who he moved to Florida actually, and he's very handy. He builds droids and everything.
Oh wow!
Shout outs to Richie. But we were in his backyard and we're using the Dremels and everything. And me, I'm not crafty, so I'm freaking like with the goggles and everything. And he has no goggles, no gloves. Just I'm like, how are you doing this? He's like, I do this all the time.
I tell you, when I started, it was like goggles, safety gloves. Like I had it all laid out, and I'd say 15 minutes in, I was like, goggles off. I was just like, I got to work this, because I felt like all that stuff I was wearing was almost more of an endangerment to slipping up than not having it. You know what I mean? But yeah, like, you go in with a plan, and that plan doesn't always work.
So I usually ask, since you're a new member, I always ask guys what is their favorite thing they've ever done trooping and what's their most accomplished thing they've done trooping, but you have yet to troop yet.
Well, this would be it for all of that.
Yeah. So this is definitely like your first troop, but what are some things you're looking forward to, or some things you've seen, or some things that you would like to do?
I don't really know because I don't have a whole lot of expectations. When I was kind of first reading up on this, I wasn't even sure what kind of commitment I could provide. But I figured, a troop once a year, like that's doable. But as I'm reading and looking at all these archive photos, I'm getting more amped about
Mhm.
like trooping. So, I mean, again, we're limited now, so it's not like there's a whole lot we can do. But I'm already starting to like jump in on some of the virtual opportunities, and I honestly thought I would sit back and kind of be a fly on the wall and wait before I would dive into that stuff. But I'm so stoked, more stoked than I even thought I would be. That I'm looking forward to kind of doing all that stuff now. Hence why we're here. I think the biggest thing for me is um, just kind of going to these events and having fun with all the folks that are enthusiasts. A lot of the kids, because for the kids, it's like the magic is all still there. And I think that's part of what we tap into when we build this stuff is that like kid like enthusiasm, and you see it in these kids, and I think it's going to be fun to tap into that. I mean, when I was doing stuff with my kids' schools for Halloween carnivals and stuff, we would dress up and we would do Comic Cons and just seeing the reaction from folks, and you feed off of that energy. It's a lot of fun. So I'm hoping to kind of tap into that for future troops and seeing what that's like. I know even when I'm doing some of these dry runs and fittings at home here, the neighbors' kids might see me and they'll run in and grab their lightsabers, and we'll have this virtual fight off the balcony. So like I love that stuff. I'd like to tap into more of that. That's really exciting for me and a lot of fun.
Well, there is no shortage of that when you troop for sure. You get a lot of, it's fun. You get a lot of kids that run up to you and hug you, and they want to take a photo, and they're super excited. But on the other side is most of the time you get their parents that are more excited than the kids.
That
So
would be me as a parent, right?
everybody's super excited. So it's definitely a super fun time, and you totally feel like you are that character for the time that you're in the costume.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. Yeah, I totally believe that you tap into that power, like the power of that storage trooper and that cannon and that brand for those few hours that you're in it. You're able to tap into it and harness it for a bit. And it's a powerful thing. I mean, if there were a force, that would be it.
Mhm. And back to what you were saying before about just you talking to all these people from around. You don't know where they're from. They could be from Germany, here, or there, man. It's crazy. Yeah, you make friends everywhere. I remember with first Star Wars celebration I went to in California, and I'm meeting these guys from Japan that I trade with all the time, and people that I talk to. It's just crazy. You wind up having friends everywhere.
That's
I've
awesome.
I've spoke to this with a bunch of other people. Like this is like one of the only clubs that you can go anywhere in the world and have a place to sleep, or like a person, because you can call any 501st member and say, "Hey, I'm in town," and most people are like, "Hey, you need a place to stay or this or that." It's crazy.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, when I was putting together my builds, I had some personal, like private messages and friends from folks, and one dude was in Japan, one dude was in China, one dude was in Brazil, one dude was in Mexico, and one dude was in like I think like Norway. I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's crazy.
this is cool, and I mean, I generally work with an international audience for work, but I mean, from a personal level, that was really cool. That like all these folks from around the world instantly, and they were super warm too. We're like, how can I help? Well, I mean, how can I motivate you? And they're from all over.
Yeah, that's another good thing about this group. Everyone is super willing to help
Yeah.
and answer questions that make you feel super comfortable real quick, which is really awesome.
Yeah, and yeah, I kind of like now that I'm more or less done. I feel like there's a responsibility there too to pave it forward and make sure that yep the next like class that comes through. It's like this is my first. What do I do? And I'm hesitant still because I don't feel like I'm an expert, but I'll jump in on some things that I think, oh yeah, I made an oopsie there. This is something you want to avoid, or this doesn't look right. Maybe someone can, provide some feedback on that area.
Well, and also, and you have some of the best knowledge because you went through the hiccups and the mess ups. So the people when they go through those hiccups and mess ups, you already know what to do, so you can
Yeah.
tell them how to get around it.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah,
always,
for sure.
yeah, man. Wow, it's crazy because you haven't trooped yet, so I'm getting a little stumped on questions here.
Well, I tell you, I do have another costume that I'm looking at, which is the Shadow Imperial Guard.
Oh
So
wow, you're gonna go shadow everything.
yeah, I think it's kind of fitting for what I've done so far, and I think that'll be cool. And from what I've read, character-wise, they go hand in hand. They often kind of go out together, which is really cool. And it's a little offbeat from the Crimson Guard. And to be frank, I think one of the first characters I fell in love with was the Red Crimson Imperial Guard. I thought they were just so slick. But I didn't know anything about the Shadow ones, and then the, when I heard about it, I started reading more into it. I'm like, oh, again, that's super slick. Maybe that's something. So again, I may be submitting for another approval again soon. We'll see. We're box cuts.
Well, I mean, if this keeps going on and there's no trooping, you'll have a lot more time to build another costume. That's for sure.
I may not be able to live in Manhattan anymore, though. in my shoebox of an apartment. We'll see.
Don't worry, that's everyone's problem. So listen, I don't have any of my costumes stored here. I have them stored elsewhere because I have
Really
space. Yeah.
I see the nice toys in the bag. I don't even have that though.
This is
really
this
cool.
is the only case I have here. Put it this way: when I moved out with my fiance, I still have my old bedroom in my mother's house, and it is a storage unit. That's where everything is. So
I can imagine.
I have closets full of Star Wars toys and stuff that are just sitting there collecting dust. Big bins of 501st patches, just way too much stuff. So yeah, it gets very. You'll see. You'll get the bug. As soon as merch starts coming out, you're gonna be like, I want to get 5 of those patches.
Oh man! Don't tell my wife. She's not going to see this, right? That this is not going to be shared. Right? Yeah, it will be shared.
So yeah, mine is definitely. It's like, please no more stuff.
Now I'm looking forward to it. I've got to do a better job of organizing it, right? Garbage hefty bags ain't going to cut it. But I did get the case, like the big roller tank.
Oh yeah.
Right, like that seems to be standard issue. And so I went to Home Depot, did the whole pre-order, curbside pickup, and then when I got it, I was like, holy smoke! This is my whole back trunk. I have a small CRV. Like it was edge to edge. Like I wasn't sure if my trunk. What?
Case, the Husky case.
You could put bodies in that. Like I didn't realize how big it was going to be. I still got the receipt just in case. Like I can't have it, but it's huge. It's huge, but it fits everything.
It is great. It fits everything, and your costume's pretty well protected. Some guys, what they'll do is, for anybody out there who wants to know, you go buy some foam and foam the inside, and then you'll still have as much space as you need. So,
yep, I started that. I did a little foam job in there, and I think I want to trick it out a little more and put my numbers on the case. And
oh yeah, they do that whenever the run opens up again. They do make. Dang, I just brought I would show you my bin, but I just took it back to my little.
To your mom's house.
Yeah. But they make these little like I don't know, like these nameplates that you put on the Husky bin that say your Garrison and anything. So they do make runs of those. So be on the lookout on the 501st website whenever they do decide to do that.
I'm hoping my wife and her awesome Cricut vinyl cutting machine, which I gave to her for Mother's Day or birthday or something, that she might hook me up with some customized decals herself. We'll see.
There you go. And I'll send some stickers your way that you can.
Ooh, thank you. Don't tease me. Play with my emotions.
Well, dude, I have plenty of stuff you can have. You can take it off my hands. I was just going through a patch bin that I have today, and I was like, man, I have this. I'm like, why do I have all this? When did I get all this?
So where do you put your patches, right? Like, do you get like
So I have another
what do
one
you
of those
do?
Husky tubs
Uh-huh.
just for 501st stuff. So
Wow.
like, what I mean, I've been the on command staff for a bunch of years, so I mean, I have like banners for tables and flags, and I have a bunch of other stuff that you actually do need for events and stuff like that too, with all my own stuff. But I mean, I got a thing full of coins, patches, pins, you name it.
That's cool. That's really cool.
And now everybody will know I used to be a little bit crazy, and I used to get 10 of every patch. I don't know why I needed 10. I don't know why I needed
That
10.
like your OCD self, like I'm gonna
Yeah,
get
yeah.
10.
So like every ECG patch that came out, I was like, I need 10, just in
You
case.
never know. You never know.
I need to be able to
I
warm
mean,
my jacket. I need to have 9 to put away.
I think the catch too is that they're all. I mean, you're a collector by nature, so that
Yeah,
taps into your collectorness, right? So it's straight Pokemon. Got to get them all. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's like
Oh, for sure.
I want everything. So and they're limited runs, so you're never gonna get it again.
Mhm.
So there's emotional value there. I think.
Yeah, no, it's fun. But then after a while, like years later, I'm like, I can probably part with some stuff. But there's some other
Well, I
members.
mean, do you share? Do you guys trade and like I
Yeah,
don't
yeah, yeah.
know?
We
What do you
trade, or
guys?
like, I mean, I remember when I first started, I had a bunch of members that gave me stuff. It's kind of like what you do. You're like, hey, I have a lot of extra stuff. Let me pass it down to some of the new guys, or like a trade. There's a bunch of guys within our garrison that are big on the coin trading. We got a lot of big coin guys.
Nice.
We got some. I don't really know if we have a lot of patch guys. We have some members that do have a lot of patches, but they're not the biggest patch people. We got a lot of big coin people in our garrison. You'll find out.
Is there something that they put it in? Is there like I don't know, something that you would display these coins in,
They
or a
do
book or
have
something?
like for the binders, like the card sheets, but for
Okay.
coins,
Oh,
they
cool.
also do
Okay.
make like little plastic holders that you can put them in, like and they sell little glass displays that you can hang on the wall that hold challenge coins. Challenge coins is a thing for the military, so
Right.
they've already been making all these types of holders and stuff forever.
Okay. Cool. Cool. And then and the patches now. Do you have like a standard jacket that you everyone put it on, or a shirt, or they
Yeah,
just
I mean,
collect
we have
them
a
and
lot
don't
of
put them
guys
on
that
anything?
make like the Dickies button-down shirts, and they'll make
Okay.
like their own racing shirt with the patches. Or we have a couple guys, me, Chris, and a couple like we have like the leather jackets and the jean jackets, and we make it look like the motorcycle cut, with the top and bottom rocker patches and stuff like that. So yeah, there's a couple things. Yeah, when I started, I was so excited. I made like a patch on everything. Like, yeah. Oh, here. I'll show you. So this is one I made when I started.
Holy smokes. That's nice. That's
And
like Sons of Anarchy nice.
yeah, I did like the front patches,
Wow.
and I used to
That's
have a label put
awesome.
on there that I think I took off. But yeah,
That back patch is one big patch,
no, these are two separate patches that they used to make. I'm sure they'll start doing them again.
but
And
the circle in the middle, that's one piece.
yeah, I think you can probably get one of these now. I think they have a run of them on the 501st
Oh, that's
form.
awesome. Well, you've got some ink. Do you have any Star Wars ink on you
Oh
or
yeah, yeah,
501st
a
ink?
lot of that. There's a
Oh,
picture of me with my number.
get out of here. That's you.
If I'm gonna put a tattoo of Star Wars, I guess I'll just put myself. I have Boba Fett. Then I got a TIE pilot in here.
Oh,
I got
nice.
Darth Vader here, and then I have the Death Star on the back.
Wow. No one's going to question your commitment, bro. That's sick.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I love it. I love it. That's awesome.
Hold on a second. But yeah, man. Yeah, definitely. You have any tattoo plans, or are you gonna be clean skin?
I've got tattoos. None of them are Star Wars or 501st related. I mean, obviously 501st, but all of my stuff are sort of just more symbolic of people like family more
Mhm.
than anything, and then kind of Asian lore. So I've got like foo dogs, phoenix, dragons, that sort of thing. Stuff that represents like my mom, my kids, myself, my lineage, all of that. But no Star Wars stuff. Maybe one day we'll see. But it doesn't quite fit in, so I'm not sure. I might have to stick to apparel.
Oh, well, you might. You'll see.
I'll find some real estate. We'll see.
No, no,
I'm,
yeah, no, you it all hits you at some point. You're gonna want to try everything. You're gonna be like, "Ooh,
Well, I am making more real estate as this COVID, thing progresses, and I can't go out. I'm getting bigger by the day, so there'll be some space.
oh man, so cool, man. This was super awesome.
Thank you. This is a lot of fun.
I can't wait for you to get out there and start trooping, which should be fun, and for us to actually meet and hang out.
Likewise, absolutely. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. I wouldn't think that I'd start already on something or would have anything to say. So I'm grateful and I'm honored that you're taking the time out. I really do appreciate it. I'm looking
Oh
forward
man,
to
thank
it.
you. It's great to meet, all our new brothers.
For sure, for sure. Can't wait to shake your hand in person, and many folks out there that have helped along the way as well.
Well, hopefully it will be very soon. So thank you, and goodbye, everybody watching.
Cheers, Price. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye bye.
Yeah.